My name is Amanda Jor, and I'm the Executive Director of Strength Counselling Services. Today, I am here to tell you our story. I started Strength Counselling Services because of the influence of my own personal counselor, actually, who, through our work together, essentially helped me to save my own life. I was so surprised how empowered I felt to change my life that I became determined to offer others the same opportunity. I had very little business experience and no business training whatsoever. But I thought if I was to build a counseling practice equipped to help hundreds, thousands, or maybe even hundreds of thousands of people, I would have to dedicate myself to its cause and learn. Starting a counseling center involves overcoming challenges and uncertainties, no doubt. I lived in Lethbridge, Alberta at the time and had for my entire life up to that point. In order to gain some experience in business and to pay my tuition for my undergraduate degree, I started a cleaning company and I ran that for 3 years. The day I decided it was time to start the counseling practice was essentially when I decided the cleaning company's days were numbered. A few months after that, I handed over 8 staff and the company's rights to the manager for the price on the company credit card, which was $1,800 at the time. When I started it originally, I thought to myself that if the cleaning company fails, it's really not a big deal because I will have learned a lot. The lessons I gained from running that company proved invaluable to starting this company. At that point, I started to map out a plan of how I would start this agency, which at the time was very difficult because I was still a student in my master's program and I had no financial backing and no investors. Living paycheck to paycheck, I commonly navigated my life with $5 in my pocket and just enough to cover my shared bills with my partner at the time, who, by the way, was allowing me to live rent free and required very little of me financially. It was actually because of him that I was able to open my first office, as his father owned a trucking company and they allowed me to rent an office within their larger office. I had one client at the time, and she and her mother were really gracious, as I can only imagine how strange they thought it was to be operating after hours in the city's industrial park. But this was the start of an incredible journey. As I was a brand new counselor, I truly had no idea how I was going to do what I envisioned. So I began with one small step and this one client. For an entire year, I was able to maintain that one client, but was not successful in obtaining any more. The pay I received from that client exactly paid my rent in the office each month. And I remember asking myself on numerous occasions if what I was doing was actually worth it. At the time, the struggle to meet my basic needs was difficult despite the support I had, and I regularly doubted what I was doing. At this time, in addition to the one client I mentioned, I was working 3 part-time jobs and going to school full-time. I would stretch myself so thin that I would often become overwhelmed with emotion and cry myself to sleep at night. The following year, I was hired by 2 additional clients, which really helped with the cash flow problem. And after a few years, I was able to move it to a new office. In an attempt to appear credible to my clients, I renovated that office space by myself. Unfortunately, I made some poor financial decisions that landed me in debt and afforded me new challenges in my relationship. I worked and attended school during the day and renovated the office through the night, returning home after midnight most days. These decisions were part of the demise of my long-term relationship with him. Over the next year or so, I mourned the loss of my partner and came to terms with my desire to date women. By the time of my graduation from the master's program, I had 10 clients and decided to liquidate all I had and move to Vancouver Island. I found that Vancouver Island was very welcoming for people in minority groups like myself. So I thought, why not? During this 8-month preparation, and it was 2012 at the time, I researched the viability of online counseling, and there was really no research and also no ethics policies written against it. One of my clients, actually prior to my own move, moved to another city and suggested we meet over Skype. So we tried that and it seemed successful. So I thought, well, if I can do this with one client, why can't I do this with all of my clients? I started disclosing to university professors, friends, and family my plan, and mostly was met with cautious support. Something you should know about me is that I always had grand ideas and little means to achieve them. So it wasn't uncommon for people to be worried about the sacrifice it would take or the end result. I still have grand ideas today. One professor was particularly harsh and told me my head was in the clouds if I thought I could move to Victoria, BC and start a private counseling practice, online at that. He was so blatantly unsupportive that it destroyed our working relationship. And as much as I struggled to see my worth and ability to succeed, I pursued it anyway because I didn't know what else to do. I learned a valuable lesson from him that day: to pursue your dreams despite lack of support. I had no idea if he was right and I was on a crash course to failure, but I knew in my gut I had to try. Today, I'm able to thank him for his disbelief in me, as it taught me that he wasn't right, and my own inner knowing carried me through, and it taught me how to trust myself. In the end, 8 of those 10 clients came with me digitally to Victoria, and that was the official onset of our counseling agency. When I arrived in Victoria in 2013, I had much the same situation as I had when I was back in Lethbridge, only this time I was dating a woman. She allowed me to live with her rent-free as I lived paycheck to paycheck and searched for a reputable job and nestled into her friend group. Emotionally, I was fairly unstable at the time and struggled with persistent depression. I was not able to find work for about 4 months despite my experience and credentials. The money I earned from the work I did with clients was only enough to pay for my essentials of living at the time, and my outlook became fairly dark by the fall of that year. Riddled with personal problems, emotional instability, and limited financial means, I fell into the pattern of staying in bed all day and feeling sorry for myself. My partner tried to support me to make different decisions, and eventually I did. I sought counseling, and I landed an overnight casual part-time position at a homeless shelter. I then took as many shifts as I could to make the money I needed to earn my keep. And after 2 years, landed a full-time position at a treatment center in the area, and shortly thereafter, hired my first contract to help with the onboarding of clients. He's still with us to this day. The rest is a long story of slow and steady growth. At the end of the day, there are numerous factors that had to come together for me to actualize this company, but I would say the most influential ones are my partner's support, my client's belief in the work, and my commitment to succeed. And remember, it all started with my own relationship with my therapist. Soulfully, I carry immense gratitude for her influence in my life. Today, I am married to an incredible woman. We are blessed with one child and have another on the way. Together, we run this counseling agency with numerous contractors and hundreds of clients. Despite life's challenges and my resounding doubt over the years, I finally realized that through the pain, it was all worth it. I now have a diverse background in counseling, ranging from crisis intervention, inpatient addiction services, and outpatient mental health services. Each of these experiences has shaped how I operate as a counselor, but mostly, I think, what has shaped me the most is my own journey of healing, as it taught me to be unapologetically myself. My fundamental goal for our clients in this company is that they too will realize their unhindered potential as they navigate their own mental health challenges. I have endeavored to hire counselors of diverse backgrounds, experience, and education to aid in this goal. It is an understatement to say that learning how to be successful in business was difficult. For the past 13 years, I've engaged largely in the exploration of trial and error, and although I have gained much, I have also lost a lot, both personally and professionally. I have been fortunate at this point to own and operate 3 enterprises, actually only one being tailored to counseling itself. And all of them have taught me vastly different skill sets and challenged my abilities beyond comprehension. To this day, I continue to trial and error ideas and apply those that appear promising and discard the ones that don't. Over time, we have built this company to operate as a highly functional support system for nearly anyone with nearly any issue, for any cost. We emphasize a strength-based approach because I believe in the power of manifestation. We walk with our clients on a journey to self-actualization and support them to live true to their soul's code. Groundbreaking changes happen for our clients when they decide to embrace their pain and struggle and transform it into growth and resilience. All that we face is merely information for us to make different choices. Choosing to act in accordance with your own goals will likely be harder than choosing to settle into the struggle. But small step by small step, resilience builds upon itself and success will be achieved. Know, though, you will fall many times, but getting up and taking another step is what will change your life one day. Here, we strive to make that process more manageable for our clients. The journey of personal growth and healing can be challenging, and we have hundreds of heartwarming success stories that reflect the profound impact counseling has had on our clients' lives. These stories range from someone on the brink of taking his own life and 6 months later advocating to the world the value of counseling, to a woman who was riddled in addiction who became a counselor herself after 6 years of sobriety. The stories prove that the work is worth it. Thanks for listening.